Yo, what's up everybody, Jackson here, and today I want to talk about something. This is kind of self-serving in a way. I kind of want to make a video because I've been running my channel for a little over a year now, and at a certain point, you know, when you're making these fucking arguments towards these developers and these publishers and these awful fucking decisions that they're making in the form of fucking paid DLC, microtransactions, paywalls, day one games, you know, and yes, there are always some that are to a lesser degree, but I'm sorry if I'm gonna talk shit on someone for doing something. It'd be like, okay, this dude raped a girl, and I'm gonna fucking say that he's a hateful piece of shit coward who deserves to get his ass kicked, right? But then this guy also raped a chick, but he's Bill Cosby. So it's not as big a fucking deal, right? Because no, it's a fucking big deal. A rapist is a fucking rapist, okay? And you're not gonna cut one slack when the other one doesn't, just because he does it to a fucking lesser degree, or he's a fucking well-beloved fucking actor, or whatever, all right? I don't care, right? Taking advantage of someone is taking advantage of someone. Taking a decision away from somebody is taking a decision away from somebody. I don't care. So that's why I go after Overwatch the same I go over after Battleborn. Do I not say that fucking Overwatch is definitely to a lesser degree and is definitely less invasive to the fucking gamer and less punishing to the gamer? Yes, I do, on several occasions, alright? Battleborn is clearly to a fucking greater degree. But I'm gonna call them both out for this because it represents something in gaming that I don't enjoy. And just because one company is just slightly doing it, that doesn't mean that other companies aren't going to take it to the next level, and eventually the next level will be the normal, right? So here's the thing, right now it's just cosmetics. It's just cosmetics, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to make this video. I'm going to get into that here in a minute, and I'm going to try to do it incredibly calm. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to have a link to just throw in a comment, because on my channel, I find it incredibly important to be fucking communicative with the audience, all right? I am going to try to respond to every comment I get. If I can respond to every comment I get, then I'm happy. That has been a goal of mine for a while now, all right? So I try to do it. But sometimes I get these comments that are the same comment I've already read, you know, involving the same responses I've already said, because I'm having the same argument with another person that I've already had about 15, 20 times by now, all right? And I just don't want to do it anymore, all right? It happened the other night, and it was an especially infuriating instance, and I'll go into a little bit later about that, because he said the same arguments that I've had 1,000 times, all right? And I'm gonna talk about the differences here, all right? So if you've gotten this link because you've left a comment on my channel, I apologize, dude. I want to be communicative with you. I want to talk to all of my audience, but I just can't have this same old argument anymore. I've done it, man. My thumbs are sore. I don't want to have this argument anymore. So I'm just going to leave this video for you. I hope you enjoy it. I promise this is not meant to offend. This isn't meant to be rude to you. And if I'm saying things about other people, it's because I've already had arguments with these people and it's ruined my opinion of them. And I don't like getting my opinion ruined of someone. So maybe someone will watch this, take the arguments they were gonna make, reconsider them, and underneath this link, throw me a better argument that I'm always interested in hearing. I'm always interested in hearing a fresh argument, okay? Because one thing I'm fighting against also on my channel is this groupthink mentality on the internet where you can't have an original idea, an original thought, and that just breeds this ground that's perfect for these developers and publishers to take advantage of us, because the ones that they're fucking over are the very ones that are defending their cause. All right, guys, so first and foremost, if you're here about a DLC argument, it's about to happen, all right? And I'm going to explain the ways the DLC can be good and the ways the DLC can be bad. Season passes, same thing. Pre-orders, I will lump all of these into this category, okay? So, as far as DLCs, if you're here telling me or defending one of my arguments against Destiny, or against Battleborn, or against fucking, I don't know, dude, I have a lot of them spread across Call of Duty, if you're here to defend DLC in any fashion, Fallout 4, if you're here to defend DLC to me and season passes and how ridiculously overpriced they are, I'm going to explain something to you now. And I'm going to use 2 games to be my examples, alright? And these 2 games are the fucking best examples I could ever fucking find. They are the best examples I will ever need, alright? And of course I'm talking about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Dying Light, the following, alright? The following DLC in particular, and the Blood and Wine and the fucking Hearts of Stones DLCs in particular, alright? Both of these DLCs were reasonably priced. Based on the size and scope of them, they almost most assuredly could have charged $50 for their season pass and nobody would have batted an eyebrow once they saw the DLC. Because you got fucking Star Wars Battlefront charging fucking $50 for their bullshit DLC, right? You got fucking Fallout 4 charging $50 for their season pass for their DLC, which is just stuff that feels like it should have been there, and maybe that's where the fucking tutorial for the builder went. Maybe it had to go away along with all these extra tools that are now all of a sudden, oh, post-launch DLC that we've been working on. That's where we get into it, alright? That's where we get into it. That's where there's the difference, okay? You're telling me these companies have to have DLC to make extra money on their game. I get it. I understand, all right? I understand that it no longer just costs $60 per title to make a video game, right? I understand that, okay? But you've got a game like The Witcher 3 that came out, okay? The Witcher fucking 3, or Dying Light, both of these amazing fucking games, brilliant fucking graphics, right? Amazing engines, all right? And these people only sold their game for $60 and then their sequel size DLC for less than $50. $50 I think total if you bought them separate in the case of The Witcher, but I'm not even sure because I think Blood and Wine still might, you know, the season pass was a great deal on that. It was $25, right? Anyway, so this is when we get into it. If you're gonna fucking argue with me about that, don't, okay? And don't try to compare your game's DLC to other games, alright? Such as World of Warcraft. I don't want to hear it. I played World of Warcraft for fucking about 4 years, okay? So I don't want to hear you tell me that the fucking skins in Battleborn are a good representation for your argument that Blizzard does it too. Okay, I don't want to hear it. If you're talking about Overwatch, fair enough. But I will still defend Blizzard in that instance and say at least they're not selling shit that you can't earn organically through the price of admission of $60 in their game, right? There's nothing you can't get in there that you would buy that you couldn't get without it, right? No, in Battleborn there is. You cannot get those skins in Battleborn without fucking giving them money. That is bullshit, all right? And that's not comparative to a fucking World of Warcraft expansion like the Lich King, like the fucking, what was the fucking second one? Burning Crusade. It's not comparative. It's not comparative, guys. It's not, all right? Those fucking things added hundreds of hours of gameplay. The skin adds a different look for my character. Don't make that argument. All right, I don't want to have this argument anymore. So if you're coming to me with an argument about DLC that isn't that they need the extra money, but okay, I understand they need the extra money, but the fuckers at Witcher 3 needed the extra money too, right? The fuckers at the following needed extra money too, right? At Dying Light, but they delivered an excellently sized DLC for an excellent price that added hundreds of hours of new gameplay. So if a fucking game comes out with a fucking $80 season pass, but then their season pass is content that adds hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours to the gameplay, like fresh gameplay, all right? Fresh gameplay, yeah, I'm in, all right? I'll buy that DLC because I know that that's what can be done with it. That's not what's being done with it. What's being done with it is they're not creating new content for DLC. They're delivering us an early access game, Street Fighter V, Battleborn, Overwatch. I go on and on and on and on. Fallout 4, right? Fallout 4, Destiny, okay? They're delivering to us an early access game, calling it a AAA release, And they're expecting us not to be onto this, not to be aware of this, okay? I've played so many free-to-play games that they are not doing anything new. These companies aren't doing anything new. These aren't original ideas they're coming up with. These are fucking things that have existed in free-to-play games since their conception. All right? So when I buy a $60 title and it looks like the last free-to-play game I played, yeah, I'm gonna be upset. So don't defend it to me. Don't defend it, okay? Because odds are you're gonna have the same argument that I've already had, bro. And it's just, you know, you're gonna infuriate me, you're gonna waste my time because I want to be communicative with my fucking viewers. I want to talk to you guys, all right? I want to talk to you because that's the only way that I can get you to understand my point of view, all right? And I'm working on being less invasive with that, with my videos. I'm working on making them less, you know, insulting to the gamers and more insulting to the people who are doing it, all right? Because I understand at this point, I'm part of this hobby too. If I want to fucking play new games, I've got to deal with day one season passes. I've got to deal now with possible microtransactions within the game. I got to deal with fucking, you know, cut content, all right? I've got to deal with that. And I still want to play these games. So I'm not blaming the people who are wanting to play these games. I'm blaming them for one thing, and that's defending it, dude. You buy the game, you play it. Don't be quiet about it. Be vocal about it. Say, this feels like a free-to-play game. This is a model. We're going towards something that is going to work us away from everything that we want out of video games, that we want. And that's just, we want them to think, you know, call me entitled. But when I buy a game, I want the people who are creating that game to have like the main priority of that game not be the fucking how to get more of my money. I want it to be, how can I get this person so enveloped into this game and so involved into this game, so engaged into this game that he's willing to give me $30 for a fucking DLC, a fresh DLC. You know what I mean? That's what I want people to be thinking. I think that was the drive of the fucking Witcher. I think that was the drive at Dying Light. Like, I truly feel like those two companies that made those two games, CDPR and I forget Dying Lights, but those companies that made those two games, I truly believe that their focus in that game was, how can we blow these guys away with something that they've not played yet? How can we, you know, and like in the case of The Witcher, how can we deliver the most immersive experience possible so that these people feel more connected to this world than with the room around them? How can we do that? And that's why people had no problem. I guarantee you they had almost 100% fucking sell rate on their DLC per sales of their game. Almost. Because I know there's a lot of people that bought The Witcher that didn't much care for the combat and stuff, and that's fine. So you probably didn't buy the DLC. But I bet you the majority of people that bought The Witcher bought that DLC. And they made their money off of it. And they not just made money, they covered what their expenses were on it and made a profit. Because they did it the right way. Alright? They did it the right way. Okay. Now, on to the group 2. If you got this link and you were not defending DLCs, you weren't making any of those arguments, and you were instead defending microtransactions as they're simply cosmetic, they don't take away from the gameplay, they don't change the gameplay, I'm going to explain this to you. It does change the gameplay. As someone who has played Smite for free-to-play for several years, right? Free-to-play on the PC for several years, I eventually gave them money because it got to this point where I was playing nothing but Smite. When I was playing with my brothers, we were playing Smite, so I played a lot of Smite. So it made more sense to me to be able to just, you know, have a few skins for those characters that I wanted rather than putting money towards a different game again, you know, that I would not play as much and, you know, something like that. So instead of that, I bought a few skins in Smite, right? I bought the God Pack in Smite. I never spent even close to $60. Okay? As someone who's conservative, right? Like, I'm conservative with my money. I don't have a lot of money. You could say I'm the brokest motherfucker you know, probably. Okay? So as someone who doesn't have that much, I mean, I need to learn how to take $10 and make $10 last me in entertainment, you know, hundreds of hours at least. Or else I'm gonna buy, you know, just something that I'm just gonna play once for fucking 2 or 3 hours and be done with, right? So I've got to be very careful with what I spend. I'm not gonna spend 10 bucks on a fucking DLC or a fucking skin if I can spend 10 bucks on a game, right? And so that's the thing. So I never felt bad though within the case of Smite, because I had played it so much, I had gotten so much enjoyment out of that game that it got to this place where I felt comfortable giving them that much money. I didn't give them any money before that, and like I said, I never spent more than $60. That's my experience with fucking cosmetic items. Okay? So when I see fucking cosmetic items for $4 a piece in a fucking game that I paid $60 for, they've crossed several lines. They've crossed several lines. They are now stealing the fucking formula from a game that was free to play and applying it in a AAA $60 release. Lines are being crossed, okay? And I'm not gonna sit quietly by and not say anything, all right? And I promise you that if you're like, well, look at this game that does it, look at that game that does it, I agree with you, dude. We don't have an argument. Feel free to just fucking take this as like, cool, man, I agree with you, and walk along. Because I swear to God, dude, if that's your argument, if that's what you're trying to say, dude, I agree with you. It's all bullshit. All right? If I pay $60 for a game, I do not think there should be fucking microtransactions in it. I definitely don't think there should be content that's removed from it before release so that they could sell it to me later for $4 a piece, because that's the thing, guys. That's the thing. The skins that they made in Overwatch that are not, you know, you can buy them, but you can earn them within the game. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's fucked up, but you can still get them without spending any money. And that's true for most free-to-play games. That's a fact that applies to most free-to-play games. Most free-to-play games have definitely skins that are unique skins that are purchased for a limited time. You can only buy them with the gems, right? But they give you opportunities to earn the gem in the game. They give you, and then later on, those skins become older and you can buy them with the fucking currency that you earn for playing matches. These are free-to-play games. Free-to-play games. Price of admission, an hour or two download max. And you're telling me that I'm not supposed to be upset over games like Destiny or games like fucking, you know, games that remove shit or add shit that's exclusively, you have to buy this with real life money. That's just the way it is. We need the money. You're telling me they need the money, and yet I see all these other gaming companies all over the place making tons of money, not having any problems making money. There's no problems for them making money. But these poor derelict, broken down fucking developers and publishers like Blizzard and Gearbox, like Activision and 2K, have to make enough money to cover their game to the point so much that they are being forced to sell skins and dances and bullshit like that. But The Witcher 3 and the motherfucking following DLC, games like that, they just can't afford it either, I guess. I don't know how they do it. They must have a money tree over there. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Love you. Jackson, I'm out of here. Those are my arguments. That's a link. Sorry. Bye.